Hey, how's it going, guys? Ricky Summer here, and today I've come back in time to play TITANIA for the very first time. But first, a message from our sponsor.
Reflash. Flash away to a better life.
Welcome back, Tenno, to Warframe. So listen, we've got a very special instance of a first time playing today, because I've actually got Titania Prime before I've got Titania. Look, the regular version, the vanilla version, is currently cooking in the foundry, but it's going to be another 3 days. I ain't got time for that, so we're going to play with the Prime. I mean, why not? I've done the Silver Grove quest. I just did it. So there's there's some Fey Queen, Shepherd of the Forest kind of stuff going on. That's really all I know. Looking at her, she's got this big old behind. I mean, listen, I can't wait to see what's going on with that. Just real quick, let's slide on over to the vanilla situation here. Yeah, okay. Kind of just this back bit here is making me think like sentient almost, Anyway, let's read her blurb. Take flight with this mischievous pixie. That's it? What? That's all we get? Come on, DE. Come on, you gotta tease us a little more than that. That's all we get as a blurb? Alright, fair play. Let's get into the abilities. I do like the butterfly aesthetic. I was gonna say crimson. It's not crimson, it's the other crimson. Green. What's the word? There's a word for that very, rich, kind of dark green. Surely there is. Anyway, it's like a regal green. I love it. I really quite like it. I think I prefer her Prime looks-wise to the vanilla, which is, I can't often say that, but look, let's do it. Let's have a look at the passive. Titania generates health for herself and nearby allies every time she casts an ability. Okay. Big survivable frame. So alright, so I guess the clincher here is how spammy she is or isn't. If she's spammy, we'll never die? The question also is how much health, which it doesn't specify. Unless it's literally just a health orb. That'd kind of be fun. Anyway, first ability, let's have a look. Spellbind. Enemies fumble their weapons as they are whisked into the air. Nearby allies become immune to status effects. Hold the ability to cast the immunity onto Titania. Right, okay, so I guess if we're playing solo, we're just holding it all the time, if I'm reading that correctly. So tap to the teammates, hold for yourself. That being said, if you just tap it, does that mean that your teammates get the status immunity, but you do not? That's an interesting and weird choice. Not really sure why that would make a distinction there. Why not just make it tap and everyone on the team, including yourself, gets it? Why have a difference? I don't know. It seems a little weird, but that's, what, I'm here for it. It's a crowd control. Does it do damage? Doesn't look like it. But still, crowd control is good. Tribute. Cycle through and extract one of 4 buffs when cast on an enemy. Thorns reduces incoming damage. Dust degrades enemy accuracy. Full Moon increases companion damage. Entangle slows enemies within range. Oh man. Okay, so look, you know how I feel about cycle abilities. It's a little much for me. I feel like I very easily get overwhelmed. So we've got just a bunch of buffs and debuffs, right? We can reduce incoming damage on ourselves, degrades enemy accuracy, increase companion damage, which I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're probably not going to use that too much. I can already hear chat being like, nah, forget about that one. Entangle slows enemies within range. Honestly, that feels like if we're going to just pick one to stay on, I feel like it's probably going to be Entangle. But who knows, Okay, so if we just keep Thorns up, right? Crowd control, Thorns, we're getting health back. So we're reducing damage, we're healing any damage we take. Big survivability. Next ability. Lantern. Create a swarm of razorflies that transform an enemy into an irresistible floating beacon, attracting witless comrades before exploding on command. Okay, yeah, cool. Good, we got some damage. Explosion damage 1000 heat damaggio. And we've got 200 heat damaggio per second. What's the duration for 10 seconds? Okay. I'm here for it. I'm ready. Right, so okay, so we're casting it on an individual who then attracts everyone close, and then we hit it again and it explodes. That's actually really cool. I really quite like that. I hope it plays out the way I'm picturing it. Because if so, that could be really exciting. Also, like, hear me out. Spellbind, then Lantern on the spellbound individual. I wonder if there's some strat there. Curious if true. Razor Wing. Shrink down and take flight, while razor flies attack nearby enemies. Oh. Okay. So we get small, which is kind of cute. But I quite like the razor fly. So do we have a radius on that? Number of drones, it says. So we've got 6. Hopefully, that number's going to increase. So we'll get more than 6 as we rank up, right? Drone damage / impact puncher. There's got an energy drain on it. Energy per second. Okay. We get increased evasion. I'm looking for like a range on the drones, you know? That's what I want to know. All right. So it looks like we're going to be doing like lots of melee stuff, right? So presumably, like, maybe range won't matter too much. But straight up, I feel like we go Spellbind, then Razor Wing, you know? Maybe we keep Tribute up as long as possible. Just for the sake of, like, damage reduction. And then we do some, like, big explosive D with Lantern. Interesting. I can't, like, immediately see, like, I guess the synergy, you know, straight off the bat. Let's have a look at the tips. Refresh Spellbind status effect immunity by recasting it on Titania or allies. Okay, so I wonder if... See, that's indicating that we would recast it, like it says, literally on us. So what does that mean? Does that mean we don't need to cast it on enemies? Or does that mean that we're casting it on enemies? See, I gotta try that out, because I'm not super clear on exactly what that means. Allies' companions within range of Tribute's full moon buff also benefit from its damage increase. Okay, so that makes that a lot more useful. I still don't think it's going to be a popular choice, but I mean, that's good. I'm glad that that's how it works. Allies within range of Tribute's Thorns buff also benefit from its damage reduction and reflection. Yeah, cool. I mean, yeah, you'd want it to, right? Enemies that survive any of Titania's Tribute buffs have their attacks weakened. Okay, survive. So, I mean, I guess that's... Tribute doesn't do any damage, right? So it's just a matter of if they're still alive when it ends, right? They'll be weakened. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I guess she's kind of like just a debuffer, crowd control debuffer across the board, but then also... Oh, but even, like, not necessarily. She's kind of got a little bit of everything in a weird way. I'm super curious to see how she plays. I'm not immediately seeing it, you know? Titania's Razorflies also benefit from Tribute's full moon damage buff. Oh, all right, there it is. All right, so we go full moon, then we hit the fall, and we go nuts. All right, straight up. I feel, yeah, I mean, that could be huge. We gotta try that. Refresh the duration of Titania's active tribute by casting and collecting the same aura from an enemy. What? What are they talking about with the aura? Did they mention an aura before? How old is this frame? Collecting the same aura? I don't know what that means. I guess we'll find out. Lantern can be cast on multiple enemies, and affected enemies can be detonated by charging the ability. Okay, so we hold it to detonate. That's pretty cool that we can do multiples. How many multiples, though? Does it say? No, I don't think so. I'm not seeing it. Interesting if true. Like, can you imagine we just got like a room full of enemies and we can detonate the whole room? God, I hope so. That'd be so pog-worthy. Maintain Razor Wing's Razor Flies by killing surrounding enemies to heal them, or recast the ability to respawn the ones that have been killed. Yeah. So as long as we keep the brain train going, we're gonna keep those flies up. I love it. I imagine it's probably the little butterflies flying around that we're seeing here. That's very cool. You know what? Yo. Lantern and Razor Wing. I cannot wait. Titania's Razor Wing weapons, the Dex Pixia pistols, and Duwata Blade can be modded separately in the arsenal. Wait, what? Hang on. Can we separately mod the little butterflies? Is that what it's saying? Titania can cast her other abilities while in Razor Wing. Oh, yo! I wonder if there's any sort of strat. Wait, what if we put like 100 adrenaline on her? Damage reduction, right? Always healing. Getting energy back like it's going out of style. And then just keeping Razor Wing up constantly. Can we make that happen? I gotta try it. Titania's small size while in Razor Wing, combined with Tribute's Dust buff, greatly increases her evasion chances. Oh, yo, okay. So like her hitbox will actually be smaller as well. That's adorable. Cast Razor Wing while in the air to shorten the cast time. Really? Right, yo, okay, I can get down with that. I mean, I've already got the muscle memory of that from like, you know, open world, launching into the air sort of stuff. Interesting. Yo, very interesting. I'm not really sure what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. Let's do some modding. I gotta mull over some of these. Look, we gotta try her out, of course. I gotta wrap my head around some of the intricacies here. Let's start with the aura. What are we gonna throw on there? It's my least favorite aura, guys. Steel Charge. I mean, Steel Charge is gonna be fine, right? Because we're doing a lot of melee with the 4. Hopefully that counts. I do want to throw Hunter Adrenaline on there so we can convert that damage on health to energy. Hopefully, ideally. Then, like, what else do we want? So we're in an interesting spot where only half of our abilities actually do damage. That being said, like if we can increase the damage on Lantern, let's throw Intensify on there and let's see what happens. Oh, Tribute does do damage. Regardless of which one we choose. Continuity and Stretch. And we got space for one more. We're doing really well, guys. What else would we want? Oh, it's like Streamline, right? We can't fit it. That's fine. That's all right. All right, just for the sake of leveling up, just to start with, I'm going to take Stretch out, going to throw Streamline in its place, and then put Prime Continuity back in, and then I can put on an Augur mod. Yeah, we'll put like Augur Reach on there. Okay, I mean, we're a lot more kitted out than I feel like we usually are with a brand spanking new frame. Hang on, is that just because it's Prime? Maybe it's because it's Prime. Listen. All right, let's throw the Arcanes on there, and let's do a little fashion. Fashion! Alright, let's start with the animation. Oh, yeah, okay. No, we gotta go noble on this one. A little bit menacing. No, we're going noble, 100%. I'm tempted to go to keep the primary as default. Then we gotta slap on, we gotta go to purple world here. I'm not too sure about that. I feel like maybe we need some new purples in our life. What if we put, oh man, you know what? Let's throw caution to the wind here. Let's get some new purples in our life. I feel like, yeah, that nice kind of, is that sort of a plum? Who knows? We may never know. Now, hear me out. First, I just feel like I've betrayed my silver origins a little too much lately, so I want to just see what that's like. No, all right, let's go with the gold here. I often have trouble with the gold. I don't know why this particular, look, I'll leave it as it is. It's a little bit orange for my taste, but that, you know, that's all right. Now, what I'm interested in is, can we change the color? Oh, yes, we can. There it is. So we change the color of that green. That being said, man, I really like that green though. You know, I think we're on a net positive here. It's a little bit edgy, but you know, I'm here for it. You know what? I like the green as it is, but I'm not sure if it totally fits. All right, let's betray the green just for a hot second. And let's take her out of the stable, see how she plays. Yo, listen, I really like the floating animation. It feels very ominous, and I'm here for it. All right, let's get started here. Float to the sky for me, please. just the one individual? All right, hold up. Can we, wait, can we heal? Yep, getting a little bit of that health back. Let's find more individuals. Sir, please. Yeah, okay, is it just like essentially single time? I mean, we can increase the range on this, I'm pretty sure. But just for the time being, I think the range is very short, so it's just single target, like effectively, right? Sir, Tenno, please, this is a Wendy's. Alright, I can get down with this. Like, we can spam a little bit, get that.
Life support incoming.
Never mind. Hold on. Is there a hold? Yeah, there is. So we can, hang on, we can hold it and like radius I'm dead again. But we can hold it and radius around, but the radius is very, very small. Or like it only targets one individual. Hold the ability to cast the immunity on Titania. Yeah, okay. So it also functions differently. Like it stops being a targetable ability, I think, in that case. Let me see if I can test that out. So I'll just get close and not look at, here we go. So we won't look. Yeah. So we can use it like that as well. I think we got 2. So that might be the better way to use it if we can get the range up somehow. That's, yeah, okay. That's a weird one. All right, we've unlocked the second ability here. And interestingly enough, it looks like we've got all 4 just ready to go straight off the bat. Did that work? Okay. I've entangled some men. I really like the residual butterfly like particle effect. That's actually quite nice. I feel like this is going to be tough to try and tease out here. So can I swap and then... So there's a cooldown on one and then I can just swap and use another? I'm actually super confused. So, wait. It seems like regardless, we need to cast it on someone. But where's the... Wait. Do we have to like be in the area or something? Let me try this again. What if I'm just close to it? I'm not too sure, guys. I don't think I'm seeing the... look, I don't know. It's hard to say whether I'm seeing the buff for it or not. Cycle through and extract one of the 4 buffs when cast on an enemy. Hang on. Oh, then you pick it up? What is happening? All right, let me try that again. Let's get a group of boys and then shimmy on in. But now what? Did it work? I'm actually super confused. I might have to go to the wiki on this one. This one's a little bit dense for me. The offering extracted is left in place near the location where the target got hit by tribute and appears as a shadow replica of the enemy. Yes. If Titania picks it up by touching it, she is granted the respective buff chosen before cast. Okay, that's what I thought, but it doesn't seem to indicate. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't see the specific buff in the top right. Unless I'm just completely missing it. What is happening? All right, let me cast it. And then if I pick it up, it refreshes it. Okay, so we're not looking for, I guess, we're not looking for a buff in the top right where we normally would. We're actually seeing the buff in the bottom right as the ability cooldown, I'm assuming. So right now we have Thorns up, and Thorns should be reducing incoming damage, which is what I want. That is good. So then to try and see an appreciable difference, I want Entangle up, slap Entangle in there, pick it up. Are they going slow? They should be 25% slower, but it's really hard to see if it's actually happening. I guess I just gotta trust that it is. Okay, alright. Yo, we've unlocked Lantern. Alright, this one I'm fully ready for. Here we go. Let's find a group. A small group. Here we go. This'll do. Cast it. They're flying around. They're getting attracted. Oh, can you see the attraction, guys? Can you see it? Let's see what happens if I just let it run out.
Additional life support.
And then a very small pop. Oh, that was anticlimactic. Alright, what if I pop it prematurely? What if I hold it? Hold it? Yeah, okay. So probably like 6 and 1/2 dozen. I'm guessing here. But I can just keep popping it, right? That was the strat? You ever slowly exploded a man before? Look, I want to see him get attracted. Look at that. They're so mesmerized. It's beautiful if you think about it. They're largely dead. Look, I really want more range on that. I think that's the clincher there. In theory, it does a lot of D. We just need to put that into practice. All right, yo, I'm just out here casting Lantern on everyone. And you know what? This is working for me. I really quite like this. Just as a play style, I've turned into Porky Pig. I'm enjoying it so much. It's very, like, you know, we don't have to worry too much about fiddling around with swapping 2s and using the crowd control of 1s. We're just slapping 3 down whenever we have the energy to do so. And then one by one, they all pop and do damage. Then I slide on in, collect the energy that remains, and we're partying. We're good to go. Let me find a group and mesmerize them, sir. And or ma'am. You know what? I'll just sit here and observe. Look at this. This is beautiful.
Another life support.
They're all hanging out. Wait for it. Yeah. No, still, like, I want it to be doing a lot more damage than that. I'm a little bit dismayed, but I am hopeful that we can bring that damage up eventually. Alright, we've unlocked the 4. Are you ready? Let's pop full moon, get that going, and then slide into the piece. You ready to get small? I said, you ready to get small? Let's get small, baby. Oh, wow. Oh, this is uncomfortable. Dude, I wasn't ready to be small. How was I not ready to be small? Oh, no. The energy drain is quite reasonable, actually. Wait, hang on. I can oh, yo, there's maybe my little moddable pistols. Yo, okay, so it seems like the independently moddable stuff is entirely, is entirely for use with the 4. Like, maybe this whole frame is just the 4. Do you ever think of that? This is remarkably insane. I'm find it very uncomfortable, the different perspective though. I don't like being this small. Is the counter in the bottom the number of fly lords we have left? That might be the case.
Get ready for a capsule.
Wow, okay. Let me test this out. If I hit 4 again, then we're out. Recast it, and we got 6. Yeah, okay. Yo, I can still cast abilities, right? So pop the 3, lure everyone in, and then, like, we can get crazy. Alternatively, slap the 1, and then we get real crazy, you know? Look at this! I mean, look. You guys know what I'm going to say. If ever there was a war crime, guys, I think we've found it. Man, I don't even know how to process this. I love that they're flying around now. They didn't do that before, right? So we've got... Oh, shit. That's like a Monster Hunter sword, dude. So we can independently mod that. And also the pistols. Right, okay. So we're not modding the butterflies. Alas, that would have been fun. Okay, let's slide into the mods for Titania herself real quick. So we can't throw anything else on there just yet, but I think I quite like where we are currently. I think Hunter Adrenaline was the right way to go. While I did run out of energy a handful of times, it didn't feel like an issue, you know? I felt much more capable, and I noticed that the energy did actually bump up as I was taking damage. It was appreciable, you know? So we're going to keep her as is. Let's go over to Pixie Prime. I noticed that it's already high status but low crit, so I've gone for status as much as I can for the moment. Hornet Strike, Sure Shot for greater status chance. Augur Seeker instead of Perpetual Agony because it provides the same amount of status duration, but we also get the added benefit of the Augur mod. And I've thrown Scorch and Frostbite on there for extra chance and also, you know, cold and heat. I think for the moment, I'm fairly happy with that. Now, going over to Diwata, however you pronounce that, this I'm not too sure. So the critical chance is higher than status chance by default. So I want to build for crit, but I don't have a critical chance, like a straight default critical chance mod, unfortunately. What I'm not too sure about is, if we have a look at True Steel, this is that just critical chance by default, but then 2 times critical chance for heavy attacks? Yeah, okay, I think I was reading that wrong. That's fine. This, you know what? Gladiator Might probably is a good strat. You know, and then eventually we'll put some status stuff on there. Yeah, okay, I'm happy to stick with that for now. Interesting. Like, yeah, I feel like we need more damage out of these individuals. It's nice to get small. I mean, of course we can get small and still cast other abilities, but I still would want, like, more damage out of the melee specifically. But if we can, like, spread status with the pistols and then and crit, could potentially be huge, I'm guessing. Alright, last up, let's have a look at some augments. Ironclad Flight. Disable vacuum in Razor Wing. Reduced damage by 40% while airborne. What? Disable vacuum? What does that mean? But reduced damage while airborne seems pretty rad. What is the vacuum? The wiki doesn't even reference it. I don't know what that means, guys. I can only assume that it prevents items from being slurped in, I guess. I don't know. You guys are going to have to fill me in on what that means exactly. But hey, yo, reduced damage while airborne. We're going to be airborne 100% of the time while using the 4, I'm guessing. So that seems like a net positive. Spellbound Harvest. Spellbind Augment. Hitting at least 4 enemies with Spellbind will grant Titania 50 energy. Alright. This I'm legitimately interested in. Because then the one is not only a crowd control, but that's how we get our energy back. We probably might not even need to use Hunter Adrenaline there. So we'll free up a space for another mod. That's pretty interesting. So we get them from New Loka and Red Veil. We can do this, man. I can make this happen for us. Next up, Beguiling Lantern. Here we go. Beguiling Lantern, Lantern Augment. Attracted enemies take 100% more melee damage. Alright, yo. I feel like, alright, so my initial thought on that is maybe that's probably more of a Steel Path thing. Because as it stands, like I feel like we are capable of, and what I want to do is do damage with the explosion. But maybe, you know, we'll get to a point where that is not... I mean, as it stands, the explosion isn't doing as much damage as I want to do. But I'm assuming it will at some point. But maybe, you know, we'll get to a point where it is not enough, regardless of how much we build towards it. So then this is really useful. We go into the 4, we do, you know, big melee damage while they're beguiled. Interesting. Okay, so maybe something for the future. Razor Wing Blitz. Razor Wing Augment. Flight speed increased by 25% and fire rate increased by 25% for 8 seconds when using abilities. Stacks up to 4 times. Right, okay. So that's straight up the Razor Wing build, right? That's, you'll take this augment with the view of being in Razor Wing, small form 100% of the time. That's pretty interesting too. Yeah. Like already, like I can see a couple different build ideas. All right, yo, not where I was expecting it to end up. I feel like the whole getting small thing is it's so weird and interesting. It's a game changer. I love the way she moves. I love the animations, and I feel like, for me at least, I wanna build for the 3. Like if we can get as much damage and range out of the 3 as humanly possible out of Lantern, that'd be huge. Just flying around, popping Lantern everywhere, and then you don't have to do anything because then all the individuals get attracted in and then they explode. And it doesn't seem like you even have to manually pop it. You can just wait for the timer to run out and they'll die. It's beautiful, man. Super interesting frame. I'll be really interested to see what you guys think of her in the stream. So we're going to do the time jump now. We're going to play her on stream. We're going to rank her up. We're going to get your thoughts, feelings, and opinions. And we'll come back in a hot second. Oh, Tenno. Oh, my gentle Christ. This has been an experience. I have so much to talk about with you vis-a-vis Titania. Honestly, you guys thought Limbo was confusing? Nah. Limbo's a freaking breeze compared to Titania, and I'll tell you why. Apparently, there are so many nuances to her abilities that just aren't mentioned at all, ever. Just, like, literally no reference. Like, I had no idea that we could do things that we can do, and even then, those things seem to be so inconsistently ambiguous that I'm not even sure if we can really actually do them, but we're gonna give them a try. Look at that. Okay, so first up, no, wait, let's back it up here. So first up, apparently the Titania mains just run around with 4 and use the Pixias, the dual pistols. And now, buddy, I'm a believer. I had a little bit of help modding these bad boys, and we'll have a look exactly what I did towards the end of the video, but like, I didn't really even think we did that much in terms of modding with these things, but it was enough to turn them from, hey, pretty good, to exploding enemies and tearing them asunder. And no wonder, that rhymed by the way, no wonder the Titania mains are just running around with 4 blepping individuals with the Pixias. I get it. That being said, my imagination has been utterly captured by Titania, and I just want to use most of her abilities. So people are like very down on the 2. They're not big 2 fans for Titania, and even the 1 apparently, they just like, hold it, that's all you need to do. And even then, everyone's just like fly around with 4 and use the pistolas, you know? Now the 3, Lantern. There's some potentially huge damage there. This is what I'm talking about with the stuff that isn't even hinted at in the tips at all. There's no reference to this at all. Apparently, you can charge up the lantern like this. Let me give you an example. So we slide into the piece here. I'm going to pop lantern. Oh, and then you shoot the individual, because the damage that they take while in lantern form will be translated to those who have been mesmerized. Pop it, and they go flying. The thing is, that seems to be so inconsistent that sometimes it seems to work really well and you get like big ricochet effects and it's very satisfying. And other times, it doesn't seem to work, and I'm not super sure why. What seems to be the case is it will only translate the damage that you do while charging it up to enemies that have been like mesmerized and snared. So the ones with the auras that are actually, you know, being lured in. It won't just do area damage. So it could well be that, and it's just been difficult for me to determine whether it's working at all or whether it is working as intended, and I'm just like not seeing the distinction between individuals in the area and individuals who have been ensnared. That was maybe not the best way to put it, but I hope you understand what I mean. So it either works inconsistently, or it's just difficult to see when it should work and when it shouldn't. Plus, there's the whole issue of, depending on what weapon you have, doing damage to the lantern target will often do damage to those in the area anyway. And then when you're in small mode, you've got your little fireflies running around doing damage anyway. So ultimately, we're in a position where... I mean, it's kind of like, I kind of feel like I'm looking a gift horse in the mouth here, you know. We're already doing damage, so like, what am I complaining about? What am I upset about? Well, I want to do damage in the fun way, in the way that lets me play around with cool ability synergies, you know. So either way, we're doing damage, so that's not a problem. We're in the position of doing so much damage that it's hard to tell exactly, you know, what we're doing and how we're doing damage here. There you go, that worked! That time it worked. It must be just, it's difficult to see sometimes who's being ensnared and who's not, you know. But when it works, man, it's satisfying. But it's like, I would like it to work more in a radius, but that's not how it is. Fine. Then there's also hints that maybe, what was it? I think it's the Firefly, like the little bug boys. I can't even remember what they're called, man. There's so many different terms here. She's got 2 independently moddable weapons and little bug things that are like companions but not companions. It's this whole thing. But the little flying boys that come about with the 4, so they might possibly borrow the mods, the damage from your sword, from the Duwada or whatever it's called. But that's possibly unconfirmed, so I don't know. Plus, applying buffs will add extra little firefly boys as well, so there's that. So I quite enjoy just applying those buffs and getting more lords out of it, you know. So like, honestly, not even worrying about what buffs I apply, just using them purely to stack the number of firefly boys here. So there's like so many ways you can do damage. If you want to be just fully, I was going to say brain dead with it, but that's derogatory. If you want to not think, you run around with the pistols and you just shoot everything, and honestly, it's the most efficient way to do damage. Things just die. You have unlimited ammo, which I didn't realize at the beginning. If you want to kind of be a little bit of a pet summon class, you can as well, by flying around with the 4 and then casting buffs anywhere to keep your little pet boys spawned, and they will do a decent amount of damage too. And then if you make sure that you've got full moon going, which is going to increase their damage anyway, then, you know, you're in a really good position. And I've actually personally found that, you know, I've been wanting to test out the explosion radius of Lantern, and I've had trouble with that because my Firefly boys are actually killing before I can even lure individuals in. There's a lot of things to keep track of here. Like, are they ensnared? Are they close enough? There's a lot going on, man. It's quite a complex frame. And not really complicated, but complex. There's a lot going on. And then, like, if you want to do the lantern stuff, you can do the lantern stuff. Like I can see 3 very distinct gameplay styles with Titania that I just wasn't ready for. But I'm here. I'm here for it, and I'm poking out of my gourd. And quite frankly, I don't want to play in the normal way. I don't want to play like everyone else plays. Just flying around shooting shit. Like, obviously it's the easiest way to do it, but I want to get in there. I want to pop lantern. And I want to explode individuals like that, but hopefully with the big charged buffs so they all go flying. Jesus Christ. Alright, let's not waste any time here, because this is already going to be far too long a video. Let's have a look at the mods. We got Stretch, Auger Reach, for the sake of hopefully getting as big a radius across the board with Lantern as possible. There's a lot of things we've got to keep track of here. There's range, radius, explosion radius, traction radius. Honestly, I don't know what half of those do, but we got to keep track of how far they're going to pull individuals in, how far they're actually affected, because they lure them in, like they get curious and they come in, but then there's a different radius for them actually getting affected. And then there's the explosion radius as well. It feels unnecessarily complex. Honestly, I really desperately want to know, did DE intend for this to be like a mystery frame? From the fact that the description is so short and meaningless. Take flight with this mischievous pixie. Like, it makes me think that it's an old frame that they put, like, less thought into, but I'm starting to think that maybe they intended for her to be, like, she's a mischievous trickster, and so her ability descriptions are going to be mischievous and tricksy as well. If that's what they intended, big respect. If not, what the hell are you doing, man? Because there's all this shit that just isn't mentioned ever at all, and my tiny little mind is blowing. Anyway, so I want as much range as possible, but I still feel like we don't have enough. Someone in chat quoted that you can get a radius of up to 12 point something meters, and it's not possible for me with my current mods. There has to be a way, but I can't do it right now. Streamline, obvious reasons. Intensify, fairly obvious reasons. You know, we're effectively, with everything we've got, we're bumping up our explosion damage from 2500 to 3250. Primed continuity, so that we can keep the lantern going for as long as possible, and also, probably the buffs as well. Does it affect the buffs, man? No, it doesn't affect the duration of the buffs. Those are set. But it might affect the drain on Razor Wing. Hang on, does it? Yeah, it does. A little bit. Okay, so I'm happy to leave it there. Honestly, probably if I needed to remove something, I'd probably remove Prime Continuity. It doesn't seem too vital to what we're doing. If there was somehow another mod I could slot in there that would increase our range, I would sacrifice Prime Continuity for it. Is that the right thing to do? I don't know, man, but that's probably what I would do. I saw a lot of people in chat, they had aerodynamic as their aura. I would have to former the aura to make that work, but I'm fairly happy with Steel Charge. It's less useful now because I'm using my pistols a hell of a lot more than the sword, but whatever, man, you know, it is what it is. And lastly, we've got Hunter Adrenaline and Vitality, and for the life of me, I swear I got this from someone. Someone suggested this, and it might have been on a different frame. It might have been on Ember? I don't know. Anyway, I just felt like this was the right play for Titania. So we use a lot of energy, right? And especially if we want to stay in our 4, if we want to stay in Razor Wing for most of the mission, regardless of whether we're using the pistols or casting abilities in that form, because it actually really helps with Lantern, because it's beneficial to stay away from the Lantern target so that the individuals are drawn into the target rather than attacking you, because that's how the AI works. I wiki dived on this shit, man. I'm like connecting the dots with red string on a friggin' dartboard, you know? We want to stay in the 4 mode for as long as possible, which means we need a lot of energy, and we need energy also to cast all the abilities while we're there as well. It's just energy. So I figure Hunter Adrenaline is good, and it was working for me to start with. It was good. I finagled a little bit, and I had the space to throw in Vitality as well. The reason being that we increase our health pool so that we can more safely take health damage to get energy back. Now, I found this actually worked a lot better for me when I was using melee predominantly in Razor Wing mode. Now it doesn't work quite as well, so we might have to go back to using melee, which is a shame because the pistols are just so friggin' good, man. But that was my reasoning. It worked. It maybe still works. I'm going to keep it for now. Let's have a look at the weapons, man. All right. This whole thing, for the most part, was chat's doing. So, as I suspected, we want to build for status, but status damage specifically over status chance. So the status chance was less of a priority, apparently. So this is what we've ended up with. Chat also really insisted on gunslinger, and yeah, I get it. You know, faster rate of fire, we get that status out a lot more frequently. So this is our strat, and setting up like this just it made these things explode. They went from, like I said, pretty darn good to holy shit. This is the whole frame. This is the whole build. Unbelievable. And it costs us nothing because it's a completely separate thing. Like, we don't have to make any sacrifices here. So this is how we live now. Let's have a look at the sword. This, turns out less great. I think I lack some important mods for this. I like some important mods for the pistols as well, but they're in a much better position currently. And yeah, for the most part, my instinct was correct. We want to build for critical chance, and then of course just a bunch of statuses. And yeah, they work a little bit better, but it's not as big an upgrade as the Pixias were. Buddy, we really went down the rabbit hole with this one. I'm just my tiny little mind is blown. I don't know why I felt so drawn to Titania. Like, I'm in my head, I'm going, if this were any other frame, I feel like I would have been like, oh man, it's too complex, I'm out. But there was something about it, and maybe it's the flying with the hints of pet mechanics in there. And also, I really like the idea of Lantern, even though half the time it doesn't quite work out the way I want. I was just oddly captivated, and I'm having quite a lot of fun. I think if all I did was fly around in Razor Wing form and shoot things, I would be bored very, very fast. I recognize that that's the meta. I don't like the meta. As long as I can do other stuff as well, I'm happy, and I can see myself playing Titania actually quite a lot in the future. I'm pogged out of my gourd here, and I'm also slipping away over here. Let's get back in nice and close. All right. So what's the strat? Mostly ignore Spellbind. Unfortunately, that's the one thing that I don't really use and don't feel super compelled to use. But I like going into 4, stacking all the tributes, especially Thorn and Full Moon, to get further damage reduction, to hopefully make us more survivable while we're taking damage, so that we can get our energy back, and also buffing our little fly boys and the Hound, of course, because I've always got the Hound with me. He actually does really pretty decent damage early on, especially. Then casting Lantern everywhere we go. I did digging, man. It was difficult to find this information, but you can cast up to 4 lanterns. So I'm going to go around the map, cast 4 lanterns, and then either pop them or let them pop on their own. And it really does seem to help the AI get to where you want them to be by not babysitting it. Like, you can observe it, but stay away, man. You don't want to entice the AI to come and attack you. And then when you're low on energy, or you've got single targets, you bust out the pisties and you do what needs to be done. But I feel wrecked by this in like the best way possible. Anyway, guys, now it's your turn. Slide on down to the comments below the like button and let me know what's your experience with Titania. I want to hear from those Titania mains, and I want to hear if you do anything other than just fly around with a 4 and shoot things. I really desperately want to know. I want to know your strats. I want to know your build ideas. And you know what? Just as a personal note, this is going to be a much longer video than usual. So clicking the like button really does help out in that case, because YouTube and watch time, it's a whole thing, man. But for the moment, thank you very much for watching. Be excellent to each other, and I'll see you next time. Ricky Summer. Oh, it's all crooked. I'm wrecked. Out.